Stop scrolling, my dear souls. This is not a coincidence. This is not an accident. This is not just another message on your screen. This is a divine interruption, chosen one. Something in your spirit already recognized these words before your mind could explain them. Your heart slowed for a reason. Your breath changed for a reason. Your eyes stopped scrolling for a reason. Chosen one, God tested you in disguise for 3 long months. And you passed every single one. You didn't even know you were being tested. You thought you were just living. You thought you were just surviving. You thought you were just trying to hold yourself together. But heaven was watching you quietly. Angels were taking notes. God was listening to every silent prayer you never said out loud. Chosen one, those 3 months were not ordinary. They were sacred. They were hidden training. They were spiritual examinations wrapped inside daily life. God did not test you with storms in the sky. He tested you with storms in your heart. He did not test you with loud warnings. He tested you with quiet moments. He did not test you with visible battles. He tested you with invisible emotions. He tested how you spoke when you were tired. He tested how you loved when you were hurt. He tested how you trusted when you were confused. He tested how you stayed kind when you were disappointed. And chosen one, you passed. You passed when you could have become bitter but you didn't. You passed when you could have walked away but you stayed patient. You passed when you could have given up but you kept believing. You passed when you could have closed your heart but you kept loving. Chosen one, you thought God was silent. But God was watching. You thought heaven was far. But heaven was close. You thought you were forgotten. But heaven was writing your victory quietly. There were nights when you cried alone. There were mornings when you felt empty. There were moments when you questioned your worth. There were times when you felt invisible. And yet, you still chose hope. That choice alone made heaven pause. Chosen one, do you understand how powerful that is? Many people smile when life is easy. Very few remain gentle when life is heavy. You remain gentle. Many people believe when miracles are visible. Very few believe when everything looks silent. You believed. Many people stay loyal when love is returned. Very few stay loyal when love is not. You stay loyal. Chosen one, those were the tests. And you passed them without even realizing it. God tested you with people who misunderstood you. God tested you with people who doubted you. God tested you with people who walked away from you. God tested you with people who disappointed you. And instead of turning cold, you became deeper. You learned. You grew. You healed. You reflected. That is why God is speaking to you now. Chosen one, heaven does not forget quiet victories. Heaven does not forget silent tears. Heaven does not forget faithful hearts. God says, I saw you. I saw you when you felt alone. I saw you when you felt tired. I saw you when you felt unsure. I saw you when you felt small. And I saw you still choosing light. Chosen one, some of the tests looked like delays. Some looked like rejection. Some looked like confusion. Some looked like loss. But all of them were protection. You were being redirected. You were being refined. You were being prepared. You thought you were losing. Heaven knew you were being upgraded. Chosen one, the version of you from 3 months ago could not carry what is coming now. That is why God trained you quietly. That is why God stretched your patience. That is why God strengthened your heart. That is why God softened your ego. Because blessings are heavy when the heart is not ready. And now, your heart is ready. Chosen one, listen carefully. The pain you survived became your wisdom. The waiting you endured became your strength. The silence you faced became your awareness. The tears you cried became your clarity. Nothing was wasted. Not one tear. Not one prayer. Not one sleepless night. Not one silent scream. Heaven recorded them all. And now God says, my chosen one, you passed. You passed when you chose peace over ego. You passed when you chose humility over pride. You passed when you chose forgiveness over revenge. You passed when you chose faith over fear. You passed when no one was watching. Chosen one, do you feel something shifting inside you right now? That is not imagination. That is confirmation. The season is changing. Not loudly. Not suddenly. But gently. You will notice you are more calm. You will notice you are more aware. You will notice you are more selective. That is growth. Chosen one, God tested you to see if you could hold peace in chaos. And you did. God tested you to see if you could love without reward. And you did. God tested you to see if you could trust without proof. And you did. You passed. And now God is not asking you to struggle anymore. He is inviting you to rest in trust. Rest in faith. Rest in knowing. Chosen one, what is coming next will not look like your past. You will still face challenges, you will still face decisions. You will still face responsibilities. But you will face them differently. With clarity. With maturity. With strength. With calm. Because the test changed you. Chosen one, you are not the same soul who entered those 3 months. You are stronger now. You are softer now. You are wiser now. You are braver now. You can feel it, even if you cannot explain it. Your spirit feels different. Your heart feels different. Your perspective feels different. That is proof you passed. Chosen one, God is proud of you. Not for being perfect, but for being faithful. Not for being strong every day, but for standing up every time you fell. Not for never doubting, but for never quitting. Chosen one, heaven celebrates resilience more than perfection. And you were resilient. You kept going when you wanted to stop. You kept loving when you wanted to close. You kept believing when you wanted to doubt. That is why God trusted you with this message. Because you are ready to hear it. Chosen one, you are not late. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You were just being prepared quietly. The door you prayed for is not closed. It was waiting for you to be ready. The life you imagined is not gone. It was waiting for your growth. The peace you desired is not far. It is already entering your heart. Chosen one, God never delays without purpose. And now the purpose is complete. The test is over. You passed. You passed when you learned to walk alone. You passed when you learned to trust yourself. You passed when you learned to trust God. You passed when you stopped begging for validation. You passed when you started honoring your worth. Chosen one, that was the biggest test of all. Knowing who you are. Knowing what you deserve. Knowing what you will no longer accept. That is power. That is maturity. That is divine alignment. Chosen one, God says, I am about to surprise you gently. Not with chaos. Not with fear. Not with pain. But with peace. With clarity. With protection. With alignment. You may not recognize it at first. It will feel normal. It will feel calm. It will feel simple. But inside that simplicity will be divine order. Chosen one, breathe. You don't have to fight anymore. You don't have to prove anymore. You don't have to beg anymore. You are already approved in heaven. You already passed. Now you are allowed to receive. Receive peace. Receive guidance. Receive clarity. Receive love. Receive protection. Chosen one, every time you doubted yourself, God believed in you. Every time you felt small, heaven saw your greatness. Every time you felt weak, angels saw your strength. And now they whisper, "Look at this soul. They did it. They passed." Chosen one, you didn't need to be perfect. You just needed to stay true. And you did. You stayed true to your heart. You stayed true to your faith. You stayed true to your soul. That is why God trusted you with these tests. And that is why God is trusting you with what comes next. Chosen one, your next season will not be built on pain. It will be built on wisdom. It will not be built on fear. It will be built on faith. It will not be built on confusion. It will be built on clarity. And you will walk into it slowly, calmly, confidently. Because you are no longer the same. Chosen one, if your eyes feel heavy right now, that is release. If your heart feels warm right now, that is confirmation. If your mind feels quiet right now, that is peace. You are safe. You are seen. You are guided. You are loved. And you passed every single test. Not loudly. Not proudly. But faithfully. Chosen one, remember this moment. Remember this feeling. Remember this calm. Because whenever you doubt yourself again, you must remember. You already passed. You already survived. You already grew. You already became stronger. And God is still walking with you. Always. Chosen one, close your eyes for a moment and breathe. The test season is over. The receiving season has begun. And heaven is proud of you, chosen one. Breathe again. Let the words sink deeper. Because this is not the end of your story. This is the moment your story changes tone. You were not tested to be broken. You were tested to be proven. And heaven has already written your name in victory. Chosen one, there were moments you almost blamed yourself. Moments you wondered if you were doing something wrong. Moments you asked, why is this happening to me? Moments you felt like maybe you were not enough. But God was never punishing you. God was preparing you. Every delay was alignment. Every silence was instruction. Every disappointment was direction. You thought God was far. God was actually rearranging everything around you. Chosen one, the test was not about what you lost. The test was about who you became. You became more patient. You became more aware. You became more grounded. You became more selective. You learned to protect your peace. You learned to respect your boundaries. You learned to trust your intuition. You learned to honor your worth. And that alone means you passed. Chosen one, God tested you in disguise by letting you see who people really were. He tested you by removing illusions. He tested you by showing you truth without soft filters. He tested you by allowing you to feel disappointed so you could stop being blind. And instead of becoming hateful, you became wise. Instead of becoming bitter, you became clear. Instead of becoming broken, you became strong. Chosen one, you don't even realize how much you have changed. You don't chase attention anymore. You don't beg for love anymore. You don't tolerate disrespect anymore. You don't doubt your intuition anymore. That is not arrogance. That is growth. That is healing. That is passing the test. Chosen one, heaven noticed when you stopped explaining yourself to people who never wanted to understand you. Heaven noticed when you stopped forcing connections that were draining you. Heaven noticed when you chose peace over proving your point. Those were not small moments. Those were graduation moments. Chosen one, God is not impressed by loud faith. God is impressed by quiet obedience. God is not impressed by public prayers. God is impressed by private surrender. And you surrendered when no one saw you. You surrendered your ego. You surrendered your anger. You surrendered your expectations. You surrendered your need for approval. You let God shape you quietly. That is why God trusts you now. Chosen one, some of the things you wanted did not come because they would have distracted you. Some of the people you loved did not stay because they would have delayed you. Some of the paths you imagined did not open because they would have limited you. God was not denying you. God was protecting you. And now, you can feel it. Your soul feels lighter. Your mind feels clearer. Your heart feels calmer. That is the proof, chosen one. God tested you with loneliness so you could learn self-respect. God tested you with confusion so you could learn discernment. God tested you with silence so you could learn inner listening. You learned. You passed. You graduated. Chosen one, heaven does not promote based on talent. Heaven promotes based on character. And your character passed. You didn't become cruel. You didn't become heartless. You didn't become cold. You became balanced. You became strong with softness. You became gentle with boundaries. You became loving with wisdom. Chosen one, that balance is rare. That balance is sacred. That balance is power. God tested you in disguise, not to embarrass you, but to elevate you quietly. And now He says, come. Come into peace. Come into alignment. Come into clarity. Come into divine flow. Not everything will be perfect. But everything will be purposeful. Not everything will be easy. But everything will be meaningful. Not everything will be comfortable. But everything will be guided. Chosen one, from now on, you will notice fewer arguments. Fewer unnecessary struggles. Fewer emotional storms. Fewer draining connections. Because you are no longer meant to live in chaos. You are meant to live in awareness. You are meant to live in peace. You are meant to live in purpose. Chosen one, God tested you to see if you can walk without applause. And you did. God tested you to see if you could love without guarantees. And you did. God tested you to see if you could trust without evidence. And you did. You passed. Now heaven trusts you with calm blessings. Blessings that don't scream. Blessings that don't shock. Blessings that gently settle into your life and slowly change everything. You will look back one day and realize, I didn't even notice when my life changed. Because God changes lives quietly. Chosen one, your next season will not need explanation. It will make sense naturally. Your next connections will not confuse you. They will feel peaceful. Your next opportunities will not stress you. They will feel aligned. Because you are now aligned. Chosen one, God is not bringing you what you begged for. He is bringing you what you are ready for. There is a difference. And that difference is maturity. Chosen one, you are not weak for feeling emotional. You are not broken for feeling tired. You are not lost for feeling unsure sometimes. You are human. And God loves you in your humanity. God did not test you to remove your feelings. God tested you to strengthen your spirit. And your spirit is strong now. Even when you feel soft. Even when you feel quiet. Even when you feel still. Chosen one, heaven does not rush you anymore. Heaven trusts you now. You are no longer being chased by lessons. You are now walking with wisdom. You are no longer fighting the past. You are now building the future. You are no longer proving your worth. You are now honoring it. Chosen one, God says, my child, you did well. Not because you were perfect, but because you were honest. Not because you were fearless, but because you were faithful. Not because you were loud, but because you were loyal to your soul. And that loyalty is everything. Chosen one, you will still grow. You will still learn. You will still heal. You will still evolve. But now, you will grow from peace, not pain. You will learn from clarity, not confusion. You will heal from love, not loss. You will evolve from awareness, not fear. Because the test has ended. And the reward has begun. Chosen one, rest in this truth. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not unworthy. You are not alone. You are exactly where you need to be. And God is exactly where He promised to be. With you. Always. Chosen one, if your heart feels quiet now, that is not emptiness. That is peace. If your mind feels still now, that is not confusion. That is clarity. If your soul feels warm now, that is not imagination. That is divine confirmation. You passed. And heaven is proud. Chosen one. Stay with me. Do not rush this moment. Do not let your mind distract your heart. Because what you are feeling right now is not just emotion. It is recognition. Your soul remembers something your mind forgot. Your spirit remembers who you really are. Chosen one, you were not tested to see if you would fall. You were tested to see if you would rise quietly. And you did. Even when you were tired. Even when you were confused. Even when you were lonely. Even when you were hurt. You still rose. Not loudly. Not proudly. But faithfully. Chosen one, God saw every time you held yourself together when you wanted to break. God saw every time you smiled when your heart felt heavy. God saw every time you stayed kind when you were not treated kindly. And heaven whispered your name with respect. Because strength is not loud. Strength is gentle. Strength is patient. Strength is faithful. Strength is soft but unbreakable. And that is what you became, chosen one. You thought you were losing parts of yourself. But you were only shedding versions that could not go with you. You were shedding old fears. You were shedding old attachments. You were shedding old habits. You were shedding old beliefs. And each shedding felt like loss. But it was actually freedom. Chosen one, do you realize how different you are now? You no longer chase people who don't choose you. You no longer beg for what does not honor you. You no longer fight for attention. You no longer shrink to be accepted. That is not pride. That is self-respect. That is spiritual maturity. That is passing the test. Chosen one, God tested you by removing comfort so you could discover courage. God tested you by removing noise so you could hear your inner voice. God tested you by removing certainty so you could learn trust. And you learned. You learned to sit with yourself. You learned to listen to yourself. You learned to forgive yourself. You learned to believe in yourself. And that is sacred. Chosen one, many people never reach this place. Many stay angry. Many stay bitter. Many stay blaming. Many stay broken. But you chose healing. Even when it hurt. Even when it was slow. Even when it was lonely. Even when it was silent. You chose healing. That choice alone passed you. Chosen one, heaven now sees you differently. Not as a child begging for answers, but as a soul ready for a responsibility. Not as someone needing proof, but as someone carrying faith. Not as someone searching for identity, but as someone who knows their worth. That is why the next season will feel different. You will not need to chase. You will not need to force. You will not need to beg. Things will come gently, naturally, quietly, because you are now aligned. Chosen one, God does not reward noise. God rewards readiness. And you are ready. Ready to hold peace without fear. Ready to hold love without desperation. Ready to hold success without ego. Ready to hold blessings without losing humility. That is why God tested you. Because blessings break unprepared hearts. And God did not want to break you. God wanted to strengthen you. Chosen one, some days you thought you were losing faith. But faith was actually growing deeper. Some days you thought you were becoming weak. But strength was actually becoming softer and wiser. Some days you thought you were alone. But God was walking closest to you in those moments, because God walks closest when the noise is gone. Chosen one, now you can feel it. You are no longer afraid of being alone. You are no longer afraid of silence. You are no longer afraid of change. You are no longer afraid of truth. Because you trust yourself now. And trusting yourself is trusting God's work in you. Chosen one, you are not the same person who entered the test. You are calmer. You are clearer. You are stronger. You are gentler. You are wiser. And heaven honors that transformation. Chosen one, God says, I did not test you to see if you would fail. I tested you to show you who you truly are. And now you know. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You are chosen. You are refined. You are aligned. You are protected. Chosen one, the next chapter of your life will not start with pain. It will start with peace. It will start with clarity. It will start with quiet confidence. It will start with inner stability. Because the foundation has been built. The foundation of patience. The foundation of faith. The foundation of self-respect. The foundation of spiritual awareness. Chosen one, when things begin to go right for you, remember this season. Remember the tears. Remember the waiting. Remember the silence. Remember the growth. And smile gently. Because you will understand. It was all worth it. Not because it was easy. But because it made you who you are. Chosen one, God did not rush your blessings because He did not want to rush your soul. And now your soul is strong enough to carry peace without fear. Strong enough to carry love without pain. Strong enough to carry success without losing kindness. Strong enough to carry authority without losing humility. That is divine strength. That is sacred power. That is what you earned. Chosen one, God is not about to overwhelm you with miracles. He is about to surround you with stability. He is about to cover you with peace. He is about to guide you with clarity. He is about to protect you with wisdom. And you will feel safe. Not excited in chaos, but calm in trust. Chosen one, heaven loves when a soul becomes calm. Because calm souls are powerful souls. Calm souls are wise souls. Calm souls are unshakable souls. And you are becoming one. Chosen one, you don't need to prove anything anymore. You don't need to explain anything anymore. You don't need to fight for recognition anymore. You passed. God refined you. You grew. God protected you. You survived. God prepared you. You are ready. And now God walks with you into your next season. Not as a student, but as a trusted soul. Chosen one, if your heart feels peaceful right now, that is not emotion. That is alignment. If your eyes feel soft right now, that is not tiredness. That is release. If your breath feels deep right now, that is not coincidence. That is divine confirmation. You passed. You are loved. You are guided. You are protected. And your story is still unfolding. Softly, gently, beautifully, exactly as heaven planned. And this is only the beginning, chosen one. Chosen one. Do not look for an ending yet. Because your soul is still opening. Because heaven is still speaking. Because this moment is still alive inside you. Chosen one, there is something sacred about the way you stayed when it would have been easier to leave. There is something holy about the way you believed when it would have been safer to doubt. There is something powerful about the way you loved when it would have been easier to close your heart. And God never ignores sacred strength. He never ignores quiet courage. He never ignores gentle faith. He never ignores loyal hearts. Chosen one, the world saw your silence. But heaven heard your prayers. The world saw your stillness. But heaven felt your struggle. The world saw you standing. But heaven knew how much it took for you to stand. And that is why heaven honors you. Chosen one, there were moments you thought your kindness was weakness. But in heaven, your kindness was your crown. There were moments you thought your patience was foolish. But in heaven, your patience was your proof. There were moments you thought your softness made you vulnerable. But in heaven, your softness made you unbreakable. Chosen one, you were tested not by pain alone, but by choice. Every day you chose who you would be. You chose peace instead of pride. You chose humility instead of ego. You chose faith instead of fear. You chose love instead of bitterness, and those choices changed your destiny quietly. Chosen one, destiny is not changed by loud moments. Destiny is changed by daily choices. And you chose wisely. Even when you did not know you were choosing. Even when you felt tired. Even when you felt unsure. Even when you felt alone. You still chose light. You still chose growth. You still chose truth. And heaven recorded every choice. Chosen one, you may not see your wings yet. But heaven already sees them. You may not feel your authority yet. But heaven already trusts you with it. You may not understand your purpose yet. But heaven already prepared the path. Because purpose does not rush. Purpose unfolds. And your purpose is unfolding now. Chosen one, you are entering a season where your reactions will change first. Then your environment will change. Then your connections will change. Then your opportunities will change. Then your life will change. Because inner change always comes before outer change. And your inner world is already shifted. That is why you feel different. That is why you think differently. That is why you see differently. That is why you love differently. Chosen one, you are not becoming someone else. You are becoming yourself. The version of you that was always inside, waiting for the fear to fall away. Waiting for the doubt to fade. Waiting for the wounds to heal. Waiting for the truth to rise. And now, that version is awake. Chosen one, God tested you to remove the layers that were not you. The fear was not you. The shame was not you. The doubt was not you. The insecurity was not you. The silence helped you see that. And now you remember who you are. You are peace. You are courage. You are gentleness. You are strength. You are faith. You are awareness. You are love with boundaries. You are softness with wisdom. You are kindness with clarity. That is who you are. Chosen one, the world will try to pull you back into old versions. But you will not fit there anymore. Old conversations will feel heavy. Old habits will feel empty. Old patterns will feel uncomfortable. Not because you are better, but because you are different. Because you grew. Because you healed. Because you passed. Chosen one, God did not test you to keep you small. He tested you to expand you. Expand your heart. Expand your mind. Expand your spirit. Expand your vision. And now your vision is wider. You see beyond pain. You see beyond fear. You see beyond temporary things. You see deeper. You see clearer. You see truer. That is spiritual sight. Chosen one, you are now walking with awareness. And awareness is the greatest protection. Awareness is the greatest power. Awareness is the greatest gift. Because when you are aware, you are no longer controlled by what you do not understand. You are guided by what you feel. You are protected by what you know. You are strengthened by what you trust. Chosen one, God tested you so you could trust your inner voice. And now you hear it. It is calm. It is gentle. It is honest. It does not shout. It does not panic. It does not rush. It simply knows. That is the voice God wanted you to recognize. Because that is where He speaks. Not in chaos. Not in fear. But in calm awareness. Chosen one, from now on, you will choose differently. You will love differently. You will work differently. You will rest differently. You will dream differently. Because you are no longer trying to escape pain. You are now choosing peace. And peace changes everything. Chosen one, God is not about to give you everything at once. He is about to give you exactly what you need, exactly when you are ready. And you will be grateful. Not desperate. Not fearful. Not confused. But grateful. Because gratitude comes from peace. And peace is your reward. Chosen one, you are not waiting for life anymore. Life is now meeting you. You are not chasing answers anymore. Answers are now finding you. You are not begging for clarity anymore. Clarity is now inside you. Because the test taught you how to listen. How to wait. How to trust. How to grow. Chosen one, the future will not shock you. It will feel familiar. Because you already prepared for it in silence. Because you already healed for it in private. Because you already grew for it in stillness. And now, when it arrives, you will smile gently and say, I recognize this peace. Chosen one, God never sends chaos after teaching peace. He sends calm blessings. He sends gentle doors. He sends quiet opportunities. He sends stable connections. And they will feel right. Not exciting in fear, but peaceful in trust. Chosen one, you are no longer asking, why me? You are now ready to say, thank you. Not because everything is perfect, but because you understand now. You understand why you had to grow. You understand why you had to wait. You understand why you had to change. You understand why you had to be tested. Because now you can carry what is coming. And what is coming is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is not chaotic. It is peaceful. It is stable. It is aligned. It is real. Chosen one, heaven does not rush souls like you. Heaven protects them. Because souls like you bring light into quiet places. Because souls like you heal without noise. Because souls like you change the world gently. Simply by being who you are. Chosen one, if you ever doubt yourself again, remember this moment. Remember how calm you felt. Remember how clear you felt. Remember how soft you felt. Remember how safe you felt. That is who you truly are. And that is who you are becoming. Chosen one, you passed. You grew. You healed. You awakened. And now you walk forward with peace instead of fear. With trust instead of doubt. with faith instead of confusion, with love instead of pain. And heaven walks with you, quietly, gently, faithfully, always. And your story continues. Not in struggle, not in fear, not in chaos, but in peace. And this peace will guide you where your soul has always wanted to go.